Okay, so let's get started by opening Inkscape. So you can just type in Inkscape. I already have it open, but once you get that loaded, you're going to want to add another layer. So you've got 2 layers. So for some of you, it might not show the layers on the side over here. So you're going to want to go over to Layer, and then Layers, and it should show up. So we'll go on to layer 1, and then we will take our pen tool and draw a simple box. Now this looks terrible. So I'm going to take the points, I'm going to move them over. And now my terrible box looks a little bit better. So now I'm going to go over to the typing tool, and I am going to type in, let's say, Bob. So I'm going to put it in all caps because that way it's easier to put down. And then when I go to make it bigger, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to press control, so that way I can make sure that it stays the same size instead of going like so, where it doesn't look right. So I'll Control Z, so that way it'll go back. And that looks about good for the size that we're doing. But if it doesn't look about the right size, then you're going to want to go back over to font or typing, and then you're going to want to change the size. So there's even bigger, but we'll just go back to what we were at. So about 110. There we go. So I'm just going to want to have the bottom of it touching. Now I'm going to take my pen tool, I'm going to go to layer 2. So you can change color if you need. I'm not going to, but here, now I'm going to go over to the pen, and I can go like that, and this, and I'm going to want to go to the outside instead of trying to like center it on the inside, because it's just easier to follow along with it. And then I'm going to hold this and I'm going to drag it. So I really can't get that pink line to line up right. So I'm going to go right about the halfway point. Now it's lined up almost perfectly. So I click enter, and then I take my pen tool again and click that little box, and then go to the center and line it up perfectly, and then we're good. And then we continue. So we'll keep going with this. So I'm not going to want to finish going down following the rest of the bee, because if I do, then it'll just cut the entire bee out. And I want it to stay on my frame, my little box below. So I'm going to stop here again, and I'm going to say, okay, approximately how much can I go without having it where it won't line up? So then I'll just keep going. I found that when using the pen tool and drawing circles, you can't usually just do it in 2 or 3, probably closer to 4. This one's being kind of a pain. So there we go. And then enter. And then just keep dragging. So that's about good. And then we'll just finish up this last bee over here. Oop, forgot about that. So whenever you make a mistake, just press Control Z, and that will fix your mistake. Oop, where'd I go? So I'll go here, then like so, then enter. And then I can finish up real quick from here by going like so. And now my basic shape is finished. I've traced the entire thing and it will cut right. But if I just do that, then the only thing you're going to see is this. And that's not exactly what we want to see when we look at a name tag, because it doesn't look right. So we're going to go back to making that visible. And then I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to draw the insides of it. So we'll go about that. Again, to do this curve, just hold and move it. And then we will continue doing this for all of the insides of the letters. And if you keep getting the problem where it's trying to drag your mouse over to somewhere nearby, you can just zoom in a little bit more and that won't happen. And then let's see here. So now we gotta fill in the O. So that doesn't look right because we don't want our O to look more like an egg than it does an O. So we're gonna keep adjusting and fixing and adjusting and fixing. Here is an example of when I'm getting the problem where I can't control it. So I'm just going to take my mouse, zoom in with a little icon, and then I will go back to my pen and continue. Don't forget to press enter after you're done with every piece. So it doesn't look like the best, but it'll look better when we zoom out. And then, so it doesn't look great, but we can make some touch-ups. So this piece shouldn't really be curved in, and this needs to have more of a curve. So I can drag the lines around and mess around with everything. But let's say I'm done with it. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go back to layer 1 and I'm just going to press delete. Or you can't get it to delete by pressing delete, you just press delete that layer. So now I'm only left with layer 2, which is what I want. So let's say I want my, let's say we want Bob's last name on there. So Bob, let's say his last name is, let's say he goes to this school. So let's just say we want TMS at the bottom. So this is not nearly as hard as the other stuff, but you can just press path, object to path. Now, one thing that you are going to want to do about this to change it, so that way it does not cut the TMS out, because we just want it engraved, is to hold shift and press a color. So I'm going to choose red. So now it's outlined in red. So now it's finished. So all I would do is file, save, Bob, and now all done.